Semi-detached homes in Calgary are very interesting to touch on. We have ultra affordable product here in Calgary, and then we have ultra luxury product here in Calgary. It is very crazy to see what is going on in this market. You can see we're starting to slow down maybe a little bit with price increases, but let's dive into it. Hi, my name's Adam Fyfe, your Calgary Realtor. If you like what you see and you want to get more information and you want to talk about how to get in the market as a buyer, seller, and investor, strongly recommend that you set up a Zoom call. It's the very first link in the description. So let's start this off by looking at what the Calgary Real Estate Board has written about semi-detached homes. With only 248 new listings and 211 new sales, the sales to new listing ratio once again pushed over 85%, which is pretty crazy to see. The pullback in new listings relative to sales ensured that inventory levels remain low and the months of supply remained just over 1 month, which is clearly a seller's market. Now the benchmark price continued to trend up. It is now at $616,000 plus $800 if you care. The monthly gains were strongest in the Northeast and East districts, as both rose over 2% compared to June. Now those are the most affordable quadrants in Calgary. So those lower numbers are probably pushing up that average, okay? The only district that experienced stability is actually the city center, which kind of makes sense because usually the inventory and the sales, they're usually pretty neck and neck for the most part, considering the city center is very expensive for what you get for a semi-detached home. So let's dive into it. So let's touch on this graph before we continue on. Now the red bar is the price point, the blue bar is the inventory, and the green bar is sales. The red bar is very easy to follow. You can see that we had a decrease in last year. It was stabilized over the winter in a way, and then it just absolutely shot up. You can see that in the last month, it's actually not increased nearly as much as it had in the last 6 months, where it's kind of flattening out a little bit. If we look at the inventory last year, July, August, September, we had a lot amount of inventory with a low amount of sales, which clearly indicated the price was going to decrease. Now this year, April, May, June, July, you can see that the inventory has slowly decreased. May had a little bit of a weird one where there wasn't a lot of sales left over and quite a bit of sales. It was kind of interesting to see that one little bump there with May. But for the most part, we're starting to see a trend down. So the crazy thing here is that the inventory and the sales gap really is starting to grow a little bit at a time. So if we start to grow a little bit at a time, we'll start to see a taper off of that price point. But it's really hard to say because semi-detached homes, again, there's a very large difference between like ultra affordable and ultra luxury. So this is one of those property types that I would say is probably going to see the most stabilized, if not decreased price going into the winter, unlike the other property types that I just recorded going into the winter. So let's go check it out. Now, if you're curious about benchmark price, this is the benchmark attributes for Calgary for a semi-detached home, 4-bedroom home, totally finished basement, 3 bedrooms up, 1 bedroom down. It is a attached double garage, 1,260 square foot, natural gas forced air, about a 3,000 square foot lot. And it was built in 2005. So when you see benchmark price, these are the attributes that they are. So let's start to paint a picture here. So here's the total sales for detached homes or semi-detached homes in all of Calgary. You can see that we've dropped from 2022 levels all the way down to the 10-year. Now we haven't dropped to as low as like 2016, 2020 era, but we are starting to see a decline in sales. Now that could be because of the new listings here. Look how low the new listings are. There's just not enough product on the market or coming to the market to maybe offset some of the demand. You can see that we are the lowest we've ever been in the last 10 years for year-to-date new listings in the semi-detached market. So there's probably not enough inventory. So when we start to look at the inventory, you can see that we're the lowest we've ever been in July for the past, 14 years? So it is pretty crazy to see that the conditions are tight. Now, it is good to see that the sales have declined a little bit with the new listings, hopefully offsetting that here and there. So let's dive into the microeconomic breakdown, the bread and butter of this whole thing. So on the left, this is the sales per quadrant, the new listings per quadrant, the sales to new listing ratio. You can see that Southeast actually had 21 sales and only 18 new listings. Now the percentage looks crazy high at 116%, which is still very high, but you can see the numbers are quite small. The inventory at the left over at the end of the month, and then the months of supply. So the months of supply is an indicator of how fast things are moving. So you've got Northeast, North, you've got West, you've got Southeast, all below 1 month, which is clearly a seller's market, indicating there's probably going to be some sort of price increases in these areas just because there's so much demand, not enough listings. City center is upwards of 2 months, which is starting to inch into balanced territories. You can kind of tell by the month-over-month decrease of 0.11%. But before I get ahead, these are the benchmark prices for each individual quadrant, year over year, month over month. Now I'm going to remove this, and you can see that the city center actually saw a decrease of $900. For $846,000, $900 really isn't that much. Let's be honest. Now, the biggest increases we're seeing are Northeast and East, which both have over $7,000 increase in 1 month, which is a lot, unlike the $900 decrease. And every other quadrant has a minimum of about $1,500 increase per month. So these are really important to know. If you're getting into the market, buyer, seller, investor, you really want to know what you're getting into, because it does make a difference of how you approach certain situations. If you're going after product that's been on the market for 20, 30, 40, 50 days, there's some room to wiggle. If you're only going after product that is fresh on the market, less than a week, you do need to keep in consideration that there probably is going to be some multiple offer situations. And that's across the board. Every property type, every quadrant. Calgary's in a super hot market right now. So where is it going to end? That's a great question. This graph here showcases the price point over the last 5 years. Now, if you can see end of 2020, end of 2021, and 2022, we kind of stabilized a little bit, right? We kind of flattened out. The seasonal adjustments, typically the home prices flatten out. I would imagine, this is only a guess, it's only a guess. I would imagine in 2023, we're gonna see some small price decline going into the winter, just like 2022. Maybe not as dramatic, but we should see some sort of decline going into the winter. Winter is typically the least activity, the prices decrease, but it's the best time to buy. Not the greatest time to sell, but I mean, if you're an investor and you're looking at getting good investment properties, it's not a bad idea to try and get it in the winter, because you might have a little bit more leverage on your side. So if these things interest you, if you like what you see, you want to create a game plan, go ahead, book a Zoom call. It's the very first link in the description. I promise I'm pretty easy to talk to. I hope you like what you see. Give this video a thumbs up. Thank you very much for supporting the channel, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.